My girlfriend told me to just get an Uber after my car accident, while she enjoyed lunch with another guy. 3 weeks ago, I almost died. I was driving home from work when a truck came out of nowhere, swerving into my lane. My car spun across 2 lanes of traffic, the sound of crunching metal and breaking glass filling my ears as I slammed against the door. My shoulder felt like it was tearing apart. Blood was dripping into my eyes, and for one terrifying moment I thought, this is it. I'm not walking away from this. But I survived, shaking, barely able to breathe, sitting on the side of the highway with my car completely destroyed. A police officer, Miller, arrived and helped me out, calling EMTs to patch me up. He looked me over and asked gently, "Do you have someone who can come get you?" Of course, I thought of Laura. We'd been together for 2 years. We lived together. She was supposed to be my partner, my person, the one I could depend on. I called, no answer. So I sent a text. "Babe, I've been in an accident. I'm hurt. My car's totaled. Please come pick me up." And then I waited. 10 minutes, 15, 20. Finally, she replied, "OMG, are you okay? I'm at lunch with Jacob. Can you just Uber? We already ordered. Let me know when you're safe." I stared at the message, blood still on my hands, sirens fading in the background. She was too busy having lunch with another man to come get me after I nearly died. The officer saw my expression, and when I showed him the text, his jaw tightened. And that's when something inside me shifted. I felt cold, so I turned to him and asked, "Don't you sometimes have to notify family in person when there's an accident?" He raised an eyebrow. "Sometimes. Next of kin. Emergency contacts." "Why?" I gave him Laura's number, told him where she was, and said, "She's my emergency contact. Can you notify her?" In person. He looked at me for a long moment, then nodded slowly, because just minutes before, Laura had posted an Instagram story, smiling across a table from Jacob at a fancy restaurant. Wine glasses, perfect lighting, location tagged for everyone to see. It was almost too easy. Miller left, and I sat there, replaying the last 2 years of my relationship, realizing just how blind I had been. An hour later, he returned with a subtle smile. "Notification made. She'll be here soon." And she was. 45 minutes later, Laura pulled up, mascara running, eyes red, voice trembling. But I could tell immediately that her tears weren't for me. They were for herself. Later, I found out exactly what happened. Miller had walked into that restaurant in full uniform, badge shining, and announced in front of everyone, "Ma'am, I need to inform you that your boyfriend, Daniel, has been in an accident. He's injured and waiting to be picked up by his emergency contact, you." The restaurant had gone silent. Jacob froze, looking at her. "Wait, Daniel's hurt? Why didn't you say anything?" And in that moment, she admitted she already knew. She had ignored me. People gasped. Phones came out. Someone recognized her from work. She left the restaurant humiliated, the story spreading before she even made it to her car. When she picked me up, she was shaking, apologizing, promising to make it up to me. She cooked, cleaned, hovered over me as if nothing had happened. But I knew better. I knew she wasn't sorry that I was hurt. She was sorry that she'd been exposed. And then she said something that ended us for good. "Daniel, you didn't have to send a cop to embarrass me. That was cruel." That was it. She wasn't ashamed of leaving me stranded, bleeding on the highway. She was ashamed that people saw her do it. I moved out soon after. She begged, promised therapy, swore she'd cut Jacob off. But when I asked, if Jacob had been the one in that accident, would you have left lunch for him? Her silence told me everything I needed to know. A week later, she showed up at my new apartment with flowers, my favorite beer, and takeout. She cried, swore she'd changed, and then dropped her final card. "Daniel, I'm pregnant." I didn't believe her. I called my brother, recorded everything, and eventually got her to leave. The very next day, she started spreading rumors that I had abandoned her and our unborn child. But then, Jacob himself messaged me. "Daniel, I didn't know about the accident. I'm sorry. She isn't pregnant. Trust me, I know." And that was the final nail in the coffin. Laura never cried for me, never cared about me. She only cared about herself, her image, her reputation, her lies. And I learned something the hard way. When someone shows you where you really stand in their life, believe them. Laura showed me mine, and it was never me.